Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. We're here for our finals of today's Orlando PC down here in Maitland, Florida. It's been such a
Yeah.
crazy good day today. I genuinely think this is one of the most stacked tournaments I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry I
Right.
keep saying that, but like, it just keeps on getting hit home more and more. Every time I step out there and I see all these games that are being played, we watch the other side of top four go down. And, that really was an amazing game. I went to the third game with Alex Ortega and Hunter Braum. And, ultimately Hunter Braum was able to, overtake Alex and, move on to finals. So now we get to see ultimately, how this final thing plays out. We have Hunter Braum, who we've seen him on stream. He's great. We've really seen him play his team well, and it has some genuinely awesome, really unique pieces to it. We've seen Riley Factura, who, maybe it's not quite as unique, but it's good. And it's Ogerpon Hearthflame, which honestly I think is kind of unique.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's just been genuinely so awesome. Um, I really want to see if Hunter's able to take on Riley's like tank of an Ogerpon and just
Right.
be able to, be able to just sustain that damage because like Ogerpon is not a joke, and Hunter needs to have an answer for it if he expects to take this game today. The rest of the bracket, we saw a lot of really good things unfold. Jackson McMillan, despite him going down to Riley last game, this was his first PC, and it was genuinely awesome to see. He really did awesome, and to make it to top four and to go toe to toe with Riley is like such an insanely awesome thing to happen.
Yes, definitely.
What do you have to say about it? Sorry,
Um,
I'm just so excited.
so in our top 8 stream, we actually got to see Alex Ortega and Christopher Beaz, and that was such a great game. Alex really just like brought forward like the offense, and like you could tell there were just so many mind games going on.
It was a really good match. I wouldn't say that necessarily, outdoes that round two match for me. That was probably the highlight of my
Right.
day today.
Yeah.
Maybe finals will prove me wrong. I hope finals will prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But that round two match was something to behold. So we got both of our boys sitting up there. Over on Hunter Brahm's side, we have Tornadus, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Fluttermane, Golden Go, and Hizuyan Arcanine.
And then on Riley's side, we have Urshifu, Chiempao, Ogerpon, Dragonite, Amoonguss, and that King Gambit.
That we do love so much, but I don't think we've gotten to see it all. So ultimately, King Gambit probably isn't the best bring here, if I'm being honest. And so we might not really have the opportunity to get to see it. Golden Go, counters him pretty well. Hizuyan Arcanine just outright kills him. They really, if Riley wants to bring King Gambit, which I do
Right.
doubt, it's not as amazing. Now, that being said, Hunter is bringing, Intimidate Hizuyan Arcanine, I do believe. That's not Rockhead, right? I don't want to mix her
Oh, right.
silly.
No, that is Intimidate.
So in that regard, Intimidate can be a pretty big deal here and could really, turn the game back in Riley's favor. But I don't remember Hunter Braun really bringing Arcanine that much either.
Right. I really do think that I know he brought Tornadus and Fluttermane a lot,
Absolutely.
and those were able to put on a lot of pressure. I do not remember him bringing Hizuyan Arcanine that much, but that could have just been just the matches he was in. It just wasn't a great matchup.
Big time. And so, you have the Rillaboom. It's great into Urshifu, but then that's countered by Ogerpon, Hearthflame, and Chiempao, believe it or not. And, Rillaboom can deal with a lot of the things on Riley's side. But, we've seen Hunter play today. We know Hunter's good. We know Hunter, if anybody has what it takes, he's the one that's made it to top 2. And we saw him do top 32 at the 2023 Puerto Rico special event. And we also saw him, he's been able to get some, final positions up in some of these premier challenges that are happening around here. So, I love Hunter's confidence. Obviously, I love Riley, but I'm definitely rooting for the underdog here. Hunter, he's locked in. He's got it. Look at him. He's looking us down. Hunter's ready to go. He's ready to take on Riley, and I think we're about to see a battle of two titans beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Right, definitely. And I'm just really excited to see if if we're gonna go to a game 3, because I feel like that would just be insane for like a finals match.
It better go to a game 3. I want to see them. I want to see them play a good long time. I want whoever wins this nightmare of a PC, not in a bad way nightmare, but just difficulty level. Whoever
Right.
takes home this PC win, they deserve it, and they
Definitely.
I definitely want to see them prove it. I want to see them
Yes.
play out of their minds here and really do it. Riley has gone completely undefeated today. So whereas Hunter, I believe, was was 4-1 by the end of his.
Yeah.
So, people would be like, well, it seems like Riley's pretty dominant here. But I really, I think Hunter can meet him. I think, we saw Hunter play very well. And I think he, if anyone can do it, he can.
Right. And honestly, like, even if they just go to a game 2, like, as long as that game 2 like feels like a game 3, whenever you play those game 2s that feel like game 3.
Yeah, where you're just having to go all out. I do get that. And I
Yeah.
like games like that. But yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot to look forward to, and it looks like our first match is finally getting started. So let's see. Riley is leading with the King Gambit and the Dragonite. I'm so happy to see it. And the Fluttermane and the Urshifu coming out.
I am so excited. This is a momentous occasion.
For the King Gambit, you're having some King Gambit. Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty hype. I mean, the King Gambit is pretty threatening into the Fluttermane here. He's pretty threatened by Urshifu, though, so, he's either going to have to switch or Terra, I think, because I think Urshifu is such a fast offensive
Right.
threat that King Gambit can't really afford to stay out in front of him if, he expects to survive. Now, if King Gambit, utilizes his Terra, that does give him a bit more of a chance. I mean, I believe King Gambit's Terra Dragon, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so with that Terra Dragon King Gambit, he'll be able to take on Urshifu a good bit better, I think. We are going to see he goes for the Terra immediately and immediately hands it over to Dragonite, actually, giving him Terra Normal. So that's pretty cool. It's not going to be amazing into Golden Go, but Dragonite's not really supposed to take on Golden Go.
Right.
That being said, you got to be careful. I mean, I guess Fluttermane's already out here, so you don't have to worry about it quite as much, but we are going to see the Sucker Punch come out of King Gambit and do a good bit of damage over to Fluttermane, but Fluttermane just has, it's able to take it. People calc for that kind of thing.
Oh.
Dragonite immediately goes down to a close combat on Riley. So Riley loses his Dragonite on his side and his Terra. So currently Hunter is definitely coming back in a pretty dominant position here.
That was actually, I mean, I don't know if he read that Terra, but close combating into that Dragonite was such a great play from Hunter.
I honestly think it was just a really good read. I mean, this is the kind of play I want to see right here. It's unbelievably hype. I mean, Hunter, he knows what he's doing. He's ready to take this on, and he proved it right out the gates by just, taking something out immediately. Now, Fluttermane's in a pretty rough spot, but, Fluttermane can move. Fluttermane can do damage. She's pretty fast. So as long as you're not, you're not being silly with Fluttermane can get some damage off.
Right, exactly. And Hunter actually switched in his Urshifu. Or did he?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Wait, no, he didn't. He had the Urshifu out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's what you're talking about. My
I'm
bad.
so sorry. It's been a long day.
You're good.
But I am, very curious to see, what Riley's King Gambit does.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty standard, the standard right now anyway, Terra Dragon set. It's just good. It has Defiant, it has black classes. It's got, Counter Cleave and Sucker Punch isn't something you see every day with, two of the same stab, but, you have the priority and the non-priority of extra damage.
Oh, but the Sucker Punch fails.
Yeah, and we're going to see these Surging Strikes come out into Urshifu on Hunter's side, which his Urshifu should live, but, now Riley's not going to be getting a whole lot of damage off in this turn.
Right. And now that...
King Gambit's going down.
Oh,
wow. I
wow.
You got to think about it. King Gambit's 4 times weak to, super effective fighting moves.
Right.
It's horrible for it. So, that doesn't really surprise me that King Gambit goes down. And yeah, I think Hunter is in an incredibly dominant position here. I mean, he's really off to a great start. Two of Riley's Mons are down, and Hunter he's keeping the pressure on beyond the shadow of a doubt.
This is just so crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness.
And I mean, you got the Rillaboom threatening Riley's Urshifu, which is already a pretty good starting point for how the next 2 turns or so is going to go. Hunter's in a great position. On top of that thing right there, that's a pretty good thing for Hunter to have in the back, especially when dealing with these with these guys. He's ready for it. He knows what he needs to do.
Exactly.
And now he's just kind of got to pack this game up and make sure he doesn't, let anything slip to Riley. Because
Right.
Riley is the kind of player that if you mess up, it's over. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. Riley will just get you. So, Chimp Powell's immediately frozen there. We're going to see the Urshifu come out with another Surging Strikes, and that's probably going to take down Hunter's other, Hunter's Urshifu. Which does then give him a pivot into something else, which might have been on Hunter's mind to intentionally do that. I'm not sure if maybe there's some confusion with the speed tiers there, but, it was a very nice to be able to switch into that without really having to risk your Hisuian Arcanine being that 4 times weak to water.
Right, and that Hisuian Arcanine is now onto the field, which means that Chien-Pao's attack is going to be -1 rather than just the normal neutral, but Urshifu's just going to brush that Intimidate right off.
Absolutely. I mean, only with Surging Strikes now, all of his priority, and, anything else Urshifu really wants to get done is going to be much harder.
Right.
And so we'll kind of have to see how Riley plans on dealing with that. Now, with Arcanine also going Terra Water, that just adds way more to the threat factor of this thing.
Exactly.
The fighting type from, Chien-Pao isn't going to be as effective. The Surging Strikes is going into Rillaboom, and it looks like it's going to do about a third to maybe, I'm going to say it's about a third of damage, maybe a little less than half. And Rillaboom's able to tank it pretty well. Then we're going to see, finally, the Chien-Pao actually does not go for any priority here. It just goes for Ice Spinner right into Rillaboom. So, I mean, yeah, that's great. But the Arcanine is definitely one of the bigger threats here on the field.
Yes, definitely. And especially with that Terra Water, it's able to withstand a Surging Strikes from Urshifu, and it's going into the Flare Blitz into the Chien-Pao. This is definitely Hunter's game.
I would say so. I mean, we got to for sure see, but, I'm very much so, and it might just be my own play style showing through here, but, like, it's not over till it's over is my idea. Like, I've had some stuff where it's been like, I didn't see that coming. I can't believe that switched up like me on that. But, he's in a very dominant position here. The burn from Arcanine is such a strong thing to be able to do. Urshifu is not going to be getting much damage off at all on Arcanine when it comes down to how you're going to finish this. Either way, it's rough.
Yeah, this is definitely rough.
But he does dodge the Will-O-Wisp, so now we're going to see this kind of continue. Maybe it's not quite as, that's still a decent amount of damage that Riley's putting on the table here. Hunter may not be wanting to take this.
Right.
He really either needs to kill that Urshifu off or get the burn off. Not getting that burn last turn was pretty pivotal for Hunter. And like I said, it's not over till it's over. Riley can't take it back if you're not careful.
Right.
We do see Arcanine getting its health back with the Citrus Berry. But I do believe it's going to Flare Blitz over into Urshifu. So it does about, what do you call that, about a fifth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it does about a fifth of damage. And, it's still not in the best position, but, he can still potentially get that... that burn off, and that could be the thing that swings it back. But currently, it does look like Urshifu is winning this little HP race.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do think that the tables have turned, and this is probably going to be Riley's game, unless Hisuian Arcanine can get it like a crit off.
I really don't know. I mean, he's at half health. I mean, Arcanine's taking this damage, and that's never a good feeling.
Right.
It doesn't really matter if he gets the burn off now. He's going down here because that was 21 damage and 19 health. So Riley Factura takes game 1.
That was still such a
that was so close. Like
game.
I thought it was solved until the end, but like I said, I'm pretty sure like Riley is so good that he can probably figure out a way around this. So yeah, I mean, going into this next match, this is going to be a pain for both of them to think their way through, and I'm really excited to see that.
Because, like, I'm sure that, like, even though, like, Riley won that game, it was still probably way too close for comfort.
Absolutely, yeah. Riley definitely wants to keep his very big domination that he kind of has had over this whole tournament, and this is the first time that, Hunter maybe questioned that a little bit. Hunter was like, no, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do the best that I can, and that was certainly the best. I mean, that was no joke. Riley almost went down there, and we all saw that. I think, ultimately, it probably came down to that burn, because that burn would have halved Urshifu's damage, and that would have, like, been half, you know what I mean? Like, it would have it halved Urshifu's speed to that 0 HP, or it halved Arcanine's race to the 0 HP.
Right.
And also would have made the Citrus Berry become much, much, much more impactful in that matchup. So yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see. It was really cool to see Hisuian Arcanine go up against Urshifu.
Yeah.
I really do think that Will-O-Wisp was kind of what lost Hunter that game. And that's just how Pokemon is sometimes. Like, whenever you have to rely on moves like that, like, you got to take that chance,
Right. I mean, like, that move is literally, like, what made, like, Aaron Zhang, unfortunately, like, lose top 4. They had to change the accuracy of the move.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it misses, and it has a bad reputation for missing. So you got to be ready for that, and sometimes you got to be prepared for it to lose you games. And I mean, I could fully see Hunter never using Will-O-Wisp again. Probably everyone I've talked to where they've lost something like this because of like a Will-O-Wisp mist or a Hydro Pump mist, like, oh, it really,
Yeah,
really sucks.
it really like infringes on your
But look at
confidence.
Hunter. Hunter's cool. He's
Right,
calm. He's
exactly.
collected. He's gonna be fine. Like
Yeah.
you could tell, he's ready for this last match. He's ready to go, and hell or high water, he's gonna play his best.
Right, exactly. And I feel like that Riley is gonna meet that as well, and so it'll really just be like you said previously, like the battle of the Titans in this finals match.
I sure hope a player of Riley's caliber would definitely match it, right? Like I want to see
Exactly.
them go all out with each other.
Yes.
So, let's hope that Hunter's confidence carries him through this match, and we can get maybe a game 3 out of it.
That would be amazing if we could get a game 3 out of this.
All right, well, let's see what they're opening up with. We got Urshifu and Ogerpon over on Riley's side, and Urshifu and Fluttermane over on Hunter's side. Overall, I mean, this was a pretty interesting opener. I do believe that, Ogerpon threatens Fluttermane pretty bad here. And the Urshifus, I do believe Riley's Urshifu is faster, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I remember, like, there could have been a little bit of, like, a hiccup in, like, remembering the speed tiers, and that's probably what helped Riley win the game.
Yeah, I think Urshifu going first in a lot of the situations was very, very helpful. I think that ultimately comes down to, like, I mean, when we look at their two sets, yeah, I mean, that's the reason why. Riley Factura is a Choice Scarf, and
Yes.
Hunter Bronze is Mystic Water. So that's the other thing to consider, though, is while Hunter Bronze Urshifu is slower, it's going to hit like a freight train, probably,
Right.
compared to Riley's. So, and that was kind of what we saw there at the end. Like, it almost cost Riley the game was the fact that Urshifu wasn't hitting as hard as he needed to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so it's close, man. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm loving the nicknames that everybody has today. I think they're some of the most well thought out nicknames I've seen in my life. And we're going to see an Intimidate come off and pop into both Ogerpon and Urshifu. It's not quite as important into Urshifu, and Ogerpon's going to switch out. So unfortunately, the Intimidate doesn't really do much here. I mean, aside from making Urshifu's priority in close combat a little bit worse. We are going to, however, see Chien-Pao come in for Riley's side, and Hunter is going to go for the Terra over onto his Urshifu.
And I feel like that Terra Water is actually a really good play for, what's that, Hunter or Riley?
That was Hunter.
Okay. I think especially with the Mystic Water.
Oh my gosh,
wow.
me and Arcanine going down to a single Surging Strike.
That was definitely a one-hit KO.
Yeah, and that could be really, really bad for Riley here in the future. But now he's going to get his own pretty strong Surging Strikes off here, likely taking out Chien-Pao along with his own Arcanine. So they're trading two pretty important offensive pieces, to just keep their Urshifus.
Right.
And now that Hunter's is kind of set in this Terra Water side of things, Hunter doesn't have his Terra, but, he's exerting a lot of offensive pressure. So I'm really interested to see kind of what he's bringing in the back alongside him.
Right, and I do think that using the Terra Water onto the Urshifu was a really great choice of Terra, because with that Mystic Water, you're already getting a boost to your water moves, but now you have the Terra Water, so now that thing is going to hit like an avalanche.
It's basically a +2 right out the gates.
Right.
It's so good. You can't sneeze at it ever. I love Water Urshifu. I tried to use Wicked Blow for a while, but this Urshifu is it's the ideal. And I think a lot of the meta agrees for the most part. I mean, it's all Water Urshifu this one today, so not even a single strike.
That is crazy, because normally you see at least one.
Yeah, big time. Riley's going to send out Ogerpon now, which, isn't a bad pick. You remember, he's neutral to water-type damage. However, Urshifu is still threatening a ton of things here.
Yes.
That being said, Riley's is faster, so, maybe if he's careful, and maybe if Riley's Ogerpon also outspeeds Hunter's, then, or Hunter's Urshifu, then, Riley's in a much better place.
Right, exactly. I do think that bringing Rillaboom in is a really good idea, because then
it's the perfect idea. It's what he needed right here.
Yes, because it exerts fake out pressure, plus it has grass coverage.
Absolutely. It has grass coverage. It has the fake out pressure. It's a little bit threatened by Ogerpon, but I don't know. Riley can't really make Ogerpon a huge threat to Rillaboom quite yet, because I don't think an Ivy Cudgel will kill it outright. But I think with that boost it would, but then it's threatened by Urshifu. So it's kind of like it's, Ogerpon, he kind of needs to figure out exactly which way he wants to take this Ogerpon, how he wants to utilize his Terra.
Right.
And in this game, like, of course, every game you need to know how to utilize your Terra, but in this game especially, it's very important.
And he is actually going to withdraw Ogerpon and bring in his Dragonite.
That's a pretty cool play over on Riley's part. I mean, Dragonite isn't going to be taking any big damage here, and of course, Fake Out's going to be, you know, just kind of eaten here. We are going to see a Surging Strikes go into into Hunter's Urshifu. It's not going to be doing much as, you know, his Urshifu gets ready to do some damage as well.
Right, and is that Surging Strikes going to be going into the Dragonite or the opposing Urshifu?
I guess we'll have to see for sure, but we do think, and I think that only does about, okay, so we're looking at about, it leaves it down to about 1/3 of its health. So,
okay.
You know, that was a good bit of damage over onto Dragonite, but, you know, now, you know, Hunter doesn't really have to deal with that offensive threat of Ogerpon. He's kind of able to just do what he wants to do here.
Right.
And so, yeah.
That Grassy Glide pressure does really go into, like, I mean, there is a lot of Grassy Glide pressure and also Woodhammer pressure into Riley's Urshifu, and I feel like that he really does need to look out for that. But also an Aerial Ace from his Dragonite can really pressure Rillaboom as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on what Dragonite wants to lock into here. You know, Riley really has to consider what he's going to be using, what Hunter has in the back. And, you know, he knows he has Arcanine, but, you know, if he locks into the Aerial Ace, then now the Arcanine, you know, isn't going to be quite as good.
Right.
So it's, God, that's what I love about all these matches we've seen today is there's so many little decisions that are being made that matter so much. Like,
yes.
Very small things, like who to target and when to target it. Like, I feel like timing has really made up a lot of this tournament, but especially in this match, it's going to be very, very vital. We're going to see Urshifu go for that Terra Poison as well, and Dragonite go for the Extreme Speed, which I don't disagree with that. I think that's a pretty good play. As well as the Terra Poison also being a pretty excellent play. However, it is going to make him weaker to the Surging Strikes. Rillaboom is also prepared to take Surging Strikes right to the face. And we're going to get ready to see, you know, how Urshifu plans to clap back. We also got to worry about Dragonite too, though, I suppose.
Right. Exactly. Still, I think that Terra was really good on Riley's part because it does, like, remove the weakness from Grass.
Absolutely. And this is pretty close. Okay,
oh.
No, that's taken out Urshifu. So Riley's now down his Urshifu and has his Dragonite up. But I do believe that's the end of the turn. So now we just kind of see what Riley pivots to. He used his Terra on that in order to try to survive, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough.
Right.
Because by, you know, ultimately going for that Poison Terra, he ultimately, you know, became not weaker to the, he became weaker to the Surging Strikes. It went from not being very effective to, you know, really being worried. And honestly, I feel like had he not Terra'd, it might have kept his Urshifu.
Right.
Now, however, Riley does once again kind of have to think about that Ogerpon, but without the Fake Out pressure. So, you know, Urshifu needs to be careful. Especially if, I mean, the Ogerpon isn't going to be Terraing on him. So, you know, at least that's something Hunter doesn't really have to worry about. But at the same time, that also means that Ogerpon isn't going to become weaker to it either. So, Ogerpon can just... it's very interesting, like the way that Ogerpon interacts with these other two on Hunter's side of the field. I'm really interested to see what Hunter plans on doing.
Exactly. Oh, this game is just so exciting. Because... like, I don't know, it's just so, like, both of these players are just making such great plays. Like that Protect on the Urshifu was great because the Horn Leech now goes into the Protect, and it's just, like, I don't know, it's just so exciting to see these two players really, like, oh, wow.
That did so much. Wowza. I guess Flutterman's not very physically bulky, but holy cow.
Yeah, that, I think he's running, an Assault Vest Dragonite.
Okay.
And, so it is not the typical choice band, but that Dragonite is
still hit like a freight train,
and it hits hard with Aerial Ace because it also gets stabbed with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you know, Hunter's still not necessarily in a bad position. He still has a lot of offensive pressure on both of Riley's mons, but he is starting to get a little low on resources, I think. I do think he's burned, like, they both burned their Terra, but Hunter's getting low on HP for all of his mons across the board.
Right. Oh, it's so hard. I don't know whose game it is.
I don't know either. I mean, you know, Riley's coming out here pretty strong, but Dragonite manages to stay alive, and that's probably going to swing the game pretty hard over into Riley's favor. Oh, and Urshifu goes down immediately to Horn Leech.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, Riley immediately kind of, you know, takes back a lot of the offensive pressure over back onto his side of the field and, you know, just might be able to clean up the game off of that alone. Again, it's not over till it's over, in my opinion, but it's not looking good for Hunter.
That is a really great play from Riley
We're going to
Factura,
see
though.
Fluttermane go down as well to aerial ace once again. Yeah, just the lack of physical defense on Fluttermane is so rough. I'm so sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. I just, like, that was a really great call to do that once again because the Urshifu had already burned his Protect. So, and you know it's going to attack, but I think that Ogerpon was faster, so it was able to get the Horn Leech off.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to see the Dragonite go down here, but I do believe Ogerpon could just follow up with an Ivy Cudgel and hit Rillaboom really hard.
Yes, exactly, and that's exactly what it does. And I think that means that Riley Factura is our Orlando Premier Challenge winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, congratulations to Riley. He really knocked it out of the park today. I mean, that's an undefeated run of, 5 rounds plus 3 rounds of top cut. So
Yeah.
that's an 8-0 record for Riley.
Yes.
That's a huge deal. He really played out of his mind today. And, of course, he's very welcome here. We're all happy. We were all surprised and happy to see him come up here today. And, it was pretty cool. He did awesome. So congrats to Riley. And, hope he continues moving forward with his VGC.
Exactly. I am so excited to see his Worlds performance because he has already gotten his Worlds invite. I mean, he got the first Worlds invite.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just excited to see how he does. I mean, we're
Exactly.
going to see him for a very long time and for the rest of the season,
Exactly.
So, but yeah, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed having you guys today. And thank you so much to Cool Stuff Games for letting us host this event and Bobby for helping us run it. And just thank you guys all so much for watching. And we really hope you liked it. And yeah, I mean, thanks so much from me.
Yeah, and thanks so much for me as well. And thank you to everyone who has supported us. And thank you to everyone who came out. This was really a great tournament.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.